What up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Chiquis and Chill. I know, your favorite podcast. I wanted to hop on the mic today to talk about success. Everything from what it means to me to some of the steps I've taken to achieve it, and lastly, what you can do to increase your chances of success. So let's get into it. This is Chiquis and Chill. Well, first of all, success is such an interesting topic because it means something different to everyone. To me, it means, well, you would think, okay, success could be a lot of luxury things, materialistic things. And in reality, in my heart of hearts, it's going to sleep every day and knowing that I did something good today for the world, not just for myself, but also for the world, that I'm making a change in the world. That is my definition of success. For those of you that have followed me for a long time, I've used the phrase boss B, and I've explained it before, where boss is short for built on self-success. And what does that mean? Built on the things that I do on a daily basis for myself, internally, for my mind, for my body, for my soul, to be better, to be the best version of myself. Always with the help of God and my faith, and you guys know how important that is to me. And then B-E-E, is babe embracing evolution, embracing growth and changes and not being afraid of changing, because that's what makes us grow. And growth is not always the most comfortable, but I feel that it is necessary. If you're not growing, if you're not evolving every single day and changing into hopefully a better version of yourself, then you're not living, is how I see it, you know? So success to me is going to sleep tranquila, knowing that I didn't hurt anybody. And if I did, being able to get my ego out of the way and apologize, and just being centered in myself, in my authentic self. That is success, and doing something not only that makes me happy, but that also feeds the world. So again, success is a very heavy word because a lot of people think money right away. Like, oh, I'm successful because I'm financially stable. And maybe, yeah, that could be good, but are you using that money for good things also to help other people? You know, those are questions you have to ask yourself. Like, only you know what your definition of success is. But I wanted to share with you guys because a lot of people always ask me, Chiquis, what is your secret to success? And I've shared this, and it's not a secret to all of my listeners. God for me is my faith, the universe, the moving force of the world, of you know what I mean? Like, that is super important to me on a daily basis to have a connection. It's that, but also routine, you guys. Routine is so important. It's doing something consistently. For me, it's I do my best to wake up early. I drink a glass of water. I meditate. I pray. I center myself for about 45 minutes to an hour. I work out. That is part of my daily routine. Of course, brushing your teeth and all that stuff, but it's important to maybe for you, it'll be journaling. Doing something consistently takes a lot of discipline. You guys hear a lot of people like, oh, it's hard work. Of course it's hard work, but it's discipline at the end of the day. It's routine, is doing something over and over. It requires a lot of discipline from you to say, oh, instead of going out, I know I have to wake up early tomorrow because that's part of my routine and that's what's going to make me feel better. That's what's going to help me succeed. And it's being able to sacrifice as well, and saying no to things and to events and to people and to sometimes even yourself when your body, your flesh desires to do something that is going to knock you off of your routine of what you do. So sometimes there's times where I'm like, no, I want to go to that dinner, but it's a little too late. And I already know I'm going to be tired and I'm not going to wake up to go to the gym at 6 a.m. and it's just going to knock me. I'll just wait till the weekend. Don't get me wrong. I like to drink. I like to party, but todo su tiempo, you know, for me, it's first comes first. I do my best Monday through Friday to just follow my routine. That means in every way, like even eating better, telling myself not to eat too late. And I'm not perfect, you guys. I'm not saying that I do this every single day. No, there are times where I won't wake up. For instance, 2 days ago, I was supposed to go to the gym at 5 a.m. and I woke up and I texted my trainer and I was like, I cannot wake up. My body was saying I need to rest. And it did kind of bother me. I felt like a little guilty. I was like, oh my God, like you could have done it. But I'm like, no, my body at that moment was asking for rest. So sometimes you have to listen to your body, or sometimes it's okay to just get distracted, but it's all about being able to have the discipline to get yourself back on track. Another thing people ask me all the time is how I stay motivated. It's not feeling like you know it all. For instance, I won 2 Latin Grammys. I could say, oh, okay, I'm just going to sit on my ass and I already did what I had to do. It's like, no, like you have to have that hunger within yourself to say, I want to learn more about my craft. Knowledge is power, you guys. Knowledge is power. I can't say it enough. The more you learn and take classes, online classes, courses, whatever, for you to grow in your craft, that gives you so much more confidence in what you do. Like for me, it's like I'm still taking vocal classes. You know what I mean? I want to learn more. I want to grow more. I'm taking different type of vocal classes now. Like I'm doing breath work. I'm doing chakra work. And it's another step. I mean, you think, oh, I already know what I need to know about singing. But in reality, it's like, no, I want to be better on stage. I want to be able to jump and sing at the same time and dance at the same time, because dancing and singing at the same time is very hard. I'm learning all that. So I think that's very important. That keeps me motivated. If you just sit there and be like, oh, I know everything already. I'm good. I made it. I'm successful. I could have just said that and be like, okay, cool. I made it. I'm done. No, that's when you get bored and you lose that passion. So in order to continue having that fire within yourself to try to be the best, not better than anyone else, but better than you were yesterday, you have to be willing. That's the word. You have to be willing to want to grow and want to learn more about whatever it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? So that's what keeps me motivated. Obviously, all my boss bees and the messages that you guys send me and all the love that I receive from you guys, that you have no idea how good that makes me feel. And it makes me feel like, damn, I'm on the right track. I'm doing the right thing. It keeps me inspired. It keeps me motivated. So you just have to love what you do, and you have to have a passion for it. And instead of looking at it as a paycheck and, oh, I get paid for it, it's really seeing what is the mission behind what I'm doing. You know, for me, it's I want to be able to do something good, yes, for myself and that I love, but also how I can help other people. All of that in conjunction keeps me motivated. And here's another thing. I'm sure you guys have heard in our Latin culture, I don't know, I've heard it a lot. Dime con quién te juntas y te diré quién eres. Okay, which means tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. And for a long time, I didn't understand it, especially when I was younger. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be like my friends. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader, you know? But in reality, I'm not saying that you can't hang out because I have friends, you know, I'll tell you guys here secretly. But I have certain friends that I don't necessarily agree with everything that they do. And I can't necessarily hang out with them every single day because I just feel like it's the type of person that I love from afar, but I love what we do together because we can do business together, but like on like a more spiritual level, it's a little, I don't know, a little bit like, it might be a little bit too much for me. And I had caught myself hanging out with this one particular person, and I won't say any names, a little too much. And I started kind of doing certain things that were kind of out of my character because she was doing it, sort of thing, you know? So I do think that it is important for you to be aware more than anything. That doesn't mean you have to stay away from everyone, but especially like your inner circle, like the people that you talk to the most on a daily basis. It is important to surround yourself with people that are on the same frequency. Even your partner, like the person that you're with, your significant other, I think it is important that you guys are at least in understanding. But for me, I'm careful with what and who I follow on social media even. I have to protect my energy. You know, if I feel that someone isn't feeding me, I just unfollowed someone yesterday that I had been following for years, that she's been posting so many negative things. And I'm just like, I was getting bothered. I felt like every time I would come across one of her posts, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I don't like what she's saying and how she's talking about this other person. So I unfollowed and I felt fine with it. I said, yeah, this is giving me peace. Like, I want to see things on my feed that make me smile, that inspire me. I follow a lot of success pages, a lot of motivational pages, quote pages, a lot of people and girls that are influencers, but I like the way they do things. And I'm like, okay, I want to do things better myself on my Instagram. So I've learned, especially now that I'm more mature, that the people that are in my inner circle, the people that I follow on social media, because believe it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, what we see on social media affects us. Social media can give us anxiety and depression because we're saying, well, why do, they have that and I don't, and blah, blah, blah. So it's important for you to feed yourself with good things, especially on TikTok, you guys, because you watch one video, you're going to get a bunch of the same videos. It just does that, So that's one thing to just, a little side note. But going back to friends and family and people that, I admire a lot of different women, and a lot of the women that I've admired for years are kind of like what I want to be my own version of that. The Oprahs of the world, Michelle Obama, I've said it before, Sarah Jakes Roberts. I follow so many different women. I can go on and on, but I think it is important for you to keep that in mind, because if you want to be a successful person, you got to figure out first your definition of success, because mine is very different from a lot of people I know. But if you just got to figure that out. It's finding your who so that you can find your way. What do I want to do in this world? What footprint do I want to leave? What's my mission? Once you find your who, you find your way. Once you find your way, then you're like, okay, who am I going to follow? Who do I want to admire? Who am I going to leave behind or set to the side in order for me to reach this goal? So you got to ask yourself all those questions. And it does hurt sometimes, because you do have to leave certain people behind that you love, but aren't necessarily good for you. We've talked about that as well on my podcast, but it's all that stuff. And the best advice I can give you guys, if you are trying to reach a certain goal, obviously if we were doing Dear Chiquis and you were asking me a specific question, I could answer it better. But I think it's important to know one thing. For instance, let's go back to, when I started my career. I started as an assistant and I've worked my way up, So I think you have to be willing to know that you need to started from the bottom, now we're here. And I'm just kidding. But you have to kind of understand that it's going to be difficult. You know what I mean? It's not just going to come easy, or maybe it will. Maybe it's just a miracle and a blessing. I feel that I've been able to savor and enjoy and appreciate things more porque me han costado, because it hasn't been that easy for me. But even with my salon, it was very hard to let go. It was my first baby. I had put everything into it, and I had to know it's okay. And this is going to sound weird, but to know what success is, you guys, real success, you have to know what failure is. And you can't be afraid of failure. You have to learn the lesson behind that situation, behind the pain of losing something, of losing someone, of failing at something. And I was holding on to that because of pride, because of for all the wrong reasons. I was holding on to my salon for 4 years. It made me no money. It just caused me so much headache. But it was my ego of no, I'm not going to lose this. I'm not going to, I'm going to make this work, until I let it go. And I was I felt like ton of bricks that were removed from my shoulders, and I felt so much better. So I think it's just knowing what your goal is and knowing, okay, there will be obstacles in the path. There will be bumps on the road. But once I get over them, through those hard moments, I know that the grass is greener on the other side. You know what I mean? I know that once I get through all of this, things will be better, And like I said earlier, you will have bad days and bad moments and sad days, because I have them as well. But you got to shake that shit off. Literally, there are times where I literally shake my whole body. I'm shaking off all the bad energy, and I'm going to throw it out the window. And sometimes I'm even driving and I'm okay, I'm feeling anxious, and I'm okay, God. And I start shaking my hands and I just throw it out of the window. Literally, I throw it all out of the window. And I think it's a mental thing, or I'm more of a visual type of person. So when I do that and I just shake it out of the window, I'm okay, I'm going to feel better. And it's all constantly giving yourself therapy. Okay. And if you can go to therapy, I always say, go. But anyways, that's the best advice I can give you guys, because this is a question that I'm asked all the time in interviews by friends, and people ask me, how are you so strong, Chiquis? And trust me, I feel that I've been through a lot and I am very strong, but I do have weak moments, you guys. I also cry. I also want to give up sometimes, that I'm no, I know that my mission here on earth and what I meant to do is so much bigger than this moment, than this sadness, than this disappointment, that I do not let it detour me too much. So I wanted to share this. I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. just before I hopped on, I was thanking God for you guys and thanking God for every single person that takes the time to listen to Chiquis and Chill. And I will be here waiting for you on the next episode of Chiquis and Chill. Besos a todos. This is a production of iHeartRadio and the My Cultura Podcast Network. Follow us on Instagram at My Cultura Podcast and follow me, Chiquis, that's CHIQUIS. For more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and check us out on YouTube.